This is a 160 Q&A practice test. Plaintiff attorney, Mr. West, capital W-E-S-T. Defense attorney, Ms. M.S. period Morris, capital M-O-R-R-I-S. And we'll start with defense attorney. Ready? Okay, and you said earlier, I believe, you received a license way back when you first trained. Is that correct? Correct. And I want to clarify, is there a difference between a license and a certificate? May call for speculation, calls for an expert opinion. You're probably closer to being right calling it a certificate, but they are looks like a license. That's why I called it a license. That's what it was called when I worked for the railroad years ago, and over the years they actually issued, but it came from the trainer. It's not a state license or anything like that. It's more of a, I would guess, which I'm not supposed to guess, but it's more of a certification to say we've been trained by this licensed trainer. Okay. And so he told us we had to do this every 3 years. Okay, renew it every 3 years. And have you had any licensing in the 10 years prior to this incident where you did a renewal? No. Do you know if your forklift license was in effect at the time of the accident? I'm going to object as to the characterization of the term license or certificate. Were you certified or licensed to operate a forklift? It was not. Did you say it or you? Let me rephrase it. Okay. Were you licensed or certified to operate a forklift at the time of the incident to your knowledge? Assumes facts. I would say not, because time limits. I've been trained. I went through the process, but it was years ago. And I wasn't a normal forklift operator over those years. So since then, no, I haven't been trained. No, I hadn't renewed. So as far as a certificate, or I had none at the time. Did Colton ask you if you had a license or certificate to operate a forklift when you were hired by them? No, they did ask me if I, was comfortable operating the forklift. Okay, I was. You obviously answered yes. Is that correct? Correct. Now, when you backed up your forklift, as you previously testified, and this may have been asked and answered, but I might have missed it, did you turn the forklift at all in any direction at any degree before the load began to topple? No. Okay. Did you turn it at any time while it was toppling? No. Did you turn it at any time after it had toppled to the ground other than? No. Okay. Not during the incident. Okay, so is it fair to say you were direct or perpendicular to the truck the entire incident until Mr. Barton was found hurt? Yes. Okay, and you said that you do not recall there being a problem with the ground around that truck. Is that a correct statement? Misstates his prior testimony. It is uneven in that area. Okay, I don't recall an actual problem with where I was at during the incident. Okay, I don't recall it. There is unevenness out there. When you say problem, what do you mean by problem? Do you mean there was unevenness, but it wasn't going to affect your ability to safely operate the forklift, or there was no unevenness, or something else? I didn't think there was any problem with unloading the vehicle, unloading the pallets where I was sitting when I pulled up. I don't recall any unevenness being a factor. Okay, I'm not positive of that, and I'm sure there are some unevenness, but at the time I thought I was sitting okay. Okay, when you went to pick up the load and started pulling back with the load on your forks, did you look around to see if anyone was in harm's way or in the way where they could have been affected by your unloading? Calls for expert opinion. May call for speculation. I normally would. Under the circumstances, I was just backing up like 3 or 4 feet, 4 feet. I knew there was no one else out there besides myself and the driver. I just pulled up. I'm going to say I don't recall. I just can't say positively whether I did or I did not. Where was Mr. Barton standing when you stopped your forklift and began the initial slow lower? Was he within your peripheral vision? Yes. May call for speculation. I knew he was there. He just came under the bed of the truck. I believe he was under the truck. He was standing approximately 8 to 10 feet from the lift when I started to move. I don't believe I moved at all before he came across and under. I don't believe. He was standing there. I pulled out. I started to lower it. That's when it all happened. He came forward to stop the load from tipping over. Okay. When you asked Mr. Barton whether it was okay to begin the lift of the pallets, were you asking him, what was the purpose of your question? What were you trying to get at? Make sure that I was under both pallets. Well, all the way through. I came up against the bed of the truck. Are we through far enough? Basically what he said, I don't recall other than, yeah, you're okay. Yes, you're okay, is the way I recall it. Okay. Exact words, I don't know. And then prior to that, you had asked him if you could lift both pallets in the one lift, correct? Correct. And when you asked that question, what information were you trying to get at? Just his opinion. I figured he knew the load, and the forks I knew would go through them both if they were identical size, and they were. Okay, were you trying to find out if just the forks would fit under both pallets? Probably say yes. Was there anything else you were asking him when you said, can we lift both at the same time? Not really, I don't believe so. Okay, were you in any kind of hurry that day to get this lift done? No. Okay, is there any reason that you wanted to lift both pallets at the same time rather than just doing one at a time? Any real reason? No, just wanted to move rather than to. We have done this sort of thing in the past. Like I said, normally it's hoses and not heavy. So you didn't have an understanding of what was on those pallets when you did this lift. Is that a fair statement? A misunderstanding? All right, the word list. Colton, capital C-O-L-T-O-N. Mr. Barton, capital B-A-R-T-O-N. And that will do it for the word list. And that will conclude our 160 Q&A practice test.